Simon Peter answered him, Master, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. We have come to believe and are convinced that you are the Holy One of God. The Gospel of the Lord. In Paul's second reading, he explains to us the great sacrifice I made in becoming a priest and foregoing marriage. Wives, be submissive to your husbands. I'm sorry, do you not get that? Obviously, husbands, be respectful of your wives. I think the tone of the reading really probably is more focused on us respecting one another rather than get caught up with words subordinate and respect, okay? Wow, holy smokes. Well, good morning, friends. So you realize it's not humor, correct? You have to get a homily eventually, correct? And I know most of you have been watching us on Facebook, I hope, right? So then you would know that this is the third week in the Bread of Life Discourse that comes to us from St. John. And inside that Bread of Life Discourse, we hear in those first 2 weeks where Jesus is speaking, and he says, I know that your ancestors made a manna, that's bread in the desert. Remember, that was when they had left Egypt. They had fled, and they were going to the promised land. They ran out of food, and so God rained down upon them manna, bread inside there. And he said inside these readings, that's Jesus said, in the Gospels, he said, unlike your ancestors who ate manna and died, though you who eat my bread will live forever. And so this is what Jesus is saying. And what he is explaining is that God has chose us to receive this great gift in the Eucharist itself. And the Eucharist is the body, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. So indeed, it is the real presence of Jesus inside their life. And this is what he's communicating to those people. So I'm trying to think, how could we make a good analogy, or what analogy could I come, at least somewhere in the ballpark, to how we could maybe understand the Eucharist. And when I thought about my example, my analogy, it came right up to back to me. The analogy should start with Catherine Reen over there. All right, Catherine Reen is a really tough taskmaster. Oh my gosh, every gray hair I have in my head is because of Catherine Reen. No two ways about it. Right, Catherine? In fact, early on at one point, she was driving me so crazy at a certain point that I have a big desk, because we do so many projects inside the rectory. I got a huge desk. It's a replica of the one inside the Oval Office. And it's huge. And so anyways, one day, I think we were both driving ourselves crazy, but she was driving me crazy first. So I got 2 of the big candles, the ones inside that red container right there, and I put them on either end of the desk. I lit them. Then I got my rosaries. I got a stole. I laid on top of the desk, put the rosaries in my hand, closed my eyes, called her into the office. She walks in, sees me laying out, and I says, I told you you'd be the death of me. And I closed my eyes again. Does that not give you an idea of what she does to me? So more than a few times, she has been so demanding on me that I've gone red in the face and I've had chest pains, correct? It's all her. Let me tell you, it's all her. She's a single person. It's all her. So I went to the doctor and I told the doctor this, and my doctor said to me, I know what you need. And so I'm going to show you what the doctor gave me. It is a miracle, to tell you the truth. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can put it up here. Can you see on the tip of my finger something green? Can you see it? Barely, right? But you can see. How about like this? Can you see it now? It's a green pill, correct? So she said, now here you do go, Father. Here, this green pill. You take this green pill every day and Catherine Reen won't get to you anymore. And I thought, what's the prescription, $1 million? And she said, no, Father, your insurance is going to cover it. So I said, I can't believe this. So I went home, I filled the prescription, and I started taking the pill. And this is the most amazing thing about this How to Handle Catherine pill right here. It works every single day. Now, you know they have another name for this pill, all right? They call it a blood pressure pill. And the thing is, if you take this blood pressure pill every day, Catherine Reen won't give you a stroke. It has worked. Now, the other hand is, if you don't take your blood pressure pill every day, Catherine will be the death of you yet. We all getting this? Okay, so I take this pill every single day. Now, I have no clue how this small little green high dosage pill works. All I know is it works. And when I'm working with Catherine, no more red face, no more tight chest that most middle-aged overweight men have. Yeah, see, it's not all you. Yeah, it's all you. You think it's all me, all me. No, it's not all you. It is a marvelous pill. If everything, first time in the morning, first thing I do, I get up there, say my prayer, go over, and I take my How to Deal with Catherine medication. Or I take my blood pressure medication, and it works. It has worked marvelously for me, and I haven't had to take any weight off. Isn't that great? Yeah, I'm still able to eat all the sweets that I shouldn't be able to eat. But that's the way that this blood pressure pill works. Seriously, it keeps me from having a stroke, but I have to have it every single day. And most middle-aged people do have to have these, and as you get older, you're going to have to have them. But it works, and it's a marvelous thing. Now, I don't know what the ingredients are of it. I don't know how it interacts with my system. All I know is pop the pill. It's a happy pill. I'm happy, right? Even when they walk off the job on the carpets on a Friday afternoon when I have weekend mass and nothing's down. It's a happy pill that I take. So, let's think of the Eucharist. The Eucharist is so much more powerful than any pill that man can make. I don't know how it works, but I know the mystery of the faith is that it is the power of Christ that compels me towards good. And I know so taking that, it's only going to make me spiritually healthier, right? Going to make me a better person, isn't it? So it's why I take that. It's more important than the blood pressure pill, though I take both, and I take them daily. But it's one of those things that I understand the Eucharist. It is the body, soul, divinity of Jesus Christ. It is his very flesh. It is his very blood that I'm drinking when I consume it inside Mass. Today's gospel is a conclusion of today's Bread of Life one, and Jesus explains this to all of them. And when he tells them they're going to eat his body and drink their blood, some may think he's a cannibal. Others just say, well, the saying is too hard, we cannot accept it. Now, pause and think about this. They have been around to see him perform multiple miracles, a resurrection, expelling many demons out. He's taken the Pentateuch, the 5 books of their Bible, and explained to them in ways and depths they've never heard before. I mean, he really has shown that he is the Messiah to them, correct? And yet the majority of them, when they heard this, they walked away, didn't they? And so Jesus then says to Peter, Peter who betrayed him, Peter who ran away from him when he was arrested, Peter who Jesus had to once say, get behind me, Satan, because he didn't understand him. Peter who just made so many mistakes. Peter is the one who says the most insightful thing that we want to hear clearly today. Master, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. We have to come to believe and are convinced that you are the Holy One of God. He realized there was no other place to turn. You would turn away from God or turn towards God. And as difficult as what that Jesus was saying, they might not have fully understood it, but they understood the man who was with him and all the miracles that he had performed and all the good deeds that he had performed. So it is very appropriate in this age, in this day, in this week for us to hear this. Because of all that we hear, that we heard in 2000 with the misbehavior of clergy, and we've got kids here so you understand why I'm using that terminology, we still kept on coming, didn't we? And now we come around to the second round, but now the second round is the story about how bishops cover this up in very significant ways when anybody with any sense of decency or any kind of mind or any kind of intellect would not have covered it up. Yet we hear that, and we hear the conspiracy that goes about. And, you know, it hurts us, and it makes us wonder. Now, the good news is you folks are here. I was afraid I wouldn't see as many people, but you're still here. And so I want you to go home and think about this and reflect upon this, that you are like the few, not the many. The many rejected Jesus after all the miracles and said, forget it. I don't care about the miracles. I don't care about the resurrection. I don't care that you expelled demons. Nope, this is too much. I'm not going to stand anymore. I'm out of here. But then the few, the courageous, the ones who had God's wisdom said, might not completely understand it right now, but I know all that he's done. I know all that's happened through the ages, and I know as a result of that, there's something here I need to know more about. There's something more I need inside here. And this bread of life, this bread that he's given me from heaven, that's going to give me eternal life, well, this is certainly what I need. I might not understand how that blood pressure pill works, but I know it works. I might not understand completely how the Eucharist works because of the mystery contained within there, but I know that it works. And you folks know that, don't you? And that's why you're here. And that's why you understand. We don't like the cover-up. We don't like the misbehavior of what happened in the 20th century. But what we do know is, for 2,000 years, the church has always provided and has brought Jesus' message and has given that Eucharist, has given us that special gift to sustain us, to make us holier in our behavior, and to make us signs of hope to those around us. This is what you're doing here. And it's a very powerful thing of what you're doing here. And that's why I'd like you to be aware of this. The other thing I'm going to say is this, and that is that now because of Pennsylvania, Illinois is doing an investigation. Thank goodness, a bishop in St. Louis, God bless him, he asked the Attorney General, handing over all the files, and said, I want you to do an investigation here. And hopefully more bishops will do that. Of course, what we'll see is painful reports of abuses that happened in the 20th century. But hopefully we'll be able to balance that with a hope to know that really since, I'd say the 1990s forwards, the church has been put in protections, and certainly 2002, put in zero-tolerance protections to make sure that ordained and lay folks, would take the care to provide for the integrity of the church and for the safety of children. The church is committed to this, and the church is doing it. But when we say the church, I don't want you to think about bishops. I want you to think about people baptized, me and you. We're the ones who are doing this. And we're the ones who are staying here, even in a difficult time, even when we might have reasons to leave. We're staying here so we can pass off this faith to the next generation. So go home and ponder this very beautiful gospel and realize so many people left, the majority left, only a few stayed. But the few who stayed, look at the church that they built over the years, that we have now the opportunity to be like them, to stay and rebuild the church. And the fact that you're already doing that, that's what I want to sit for. And just think about this and think how amazing it is that your faith supplies you with the desire to rebuild this church. Together let us stand and make our profession of faith.